been our great honor and privilege to serve all of you by sharing some knowledge and wisdom that we have received from our masters and our spiritual teachers. We are very grateful for all the kind support and appreciation that all of you have continuously offered us. Many of the social media platforms where our presence was seen was flooded with a lot of questions that many have asked and have sought answers. Therefore, our media team thought that it would be worthwhile to start a questions and answers series where any of you who wanted to ask a question could ask a question and we could humbly try to answer that question. I'm actually reminded of a story of Albert Einstein. To be honest, I truly don't know if it's a real story or not. From the content, I think it's not, but I'm not sure. When Albert Einstein came up with the theory of relativity of space and time, he was extensively lecturing on this theory in many scientific communities. One day, after having spoken at 4 such lecturing events, Albert Einstein was sitting in the car. His driver was taking him to the 5th one, and he was extremely exhausted and tired. The driver turned to Albert Einstein behind and said, "Sir, look like you're very tired." Albert Einstein said, "Of course, after 4 lecture engagements, what do you expect? I'm completely tired and exhausted." The driver said, "Actually, you don't have to worry. I can go and give the talk on relativity theory." Albert Einstein was taken aback by a surprise. The driver said, "Well, I've heard you speak on this theory so many times that I have this theory by heart now and I can repeat it as it is." Albert Einstein thought to himself, "No one has anyway seen me there and no one knows what I look like, so it's worth a deal." And he asked his driver to go to this lecture event and speak. The driver, now posing as Albert Einstein, came and started speaking to the scientific community on the relativity theory. Albert Einstein came off the car and came and sat in the last row of the lecture hall to just check and see what this guy was speaking. And even Albert was so impressed by the way his driver, now posing as Albert Einstein, was speaking on the relativity theory. He repeated verbatim, word by word, what Albert Einstein used to speak. The talk was over. The entire scientific community was absolutely impressed. After the talk was over, one scientist raised his hand and said, "Can I ask you a question?" This guy said yes. And after hearing the question, the driver, now Albert, said, "You claim yourself to be a scientist? What a stupid, dumb question this is. Such a dumb question that even my driver sitting at the end can answer this question." And he turned to Albert Einstein and said, "Can you answer the question, please?" And when Albert Einstein answered the question, the entire scientific community was dumbfounded that if the driver can answer the question like this, you can imagine what the scientist is. Now, unfortunately for me, I don't have drivers like these to answer your questions. But I do seek inspiration from one of the greatest drivers that the world has ever seen. 5,000 years back, in India, in a place called Kurukshetra, there was a gentleman, a warrior, whose name was Arjun. And he was completely confused in trying to perform his duty to fight a battle against his contenders for establishing virtue and righteousness. It was at that time his friend, his guide, his guru, his mentor played the role of a driver. Arjun asked very pertinent questions. And although playing the role of a driver, Shri Krishna, his friend and guru, answered the questions which later got to be known all over the world as the Bhagavad Gita. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the timeless wisdom of this incredible epic literature, we would try to attempt to answer some of your questions, seeking inspiration from this most divine, inspirational driver, Shri Krishna. Thank you.